Hey guys, welcome. I wanted to talk a little bit about prerequisites, and I wanted to give you some advice or some tips on how I studied for um, my prerequisites for my, especially the science classes like your anatomy and physiology, your chemistry, your microbiology. So those are like your core classes, the classes that a lot of the nursing department look at to see how you're doing in those classes. So those are your most important classes because always, as we all know, nursing is based on science. So that's one of the those are the classes that they look at the most. I have to tell you that try not to repeat too many classes, too many of the prerequisites, especially the science, your microbiology, chemistry, anatomy, because you know what they're looking at is how many times you repeat those classes. They're going to take it in consideration that if it's really hard for you to pass the your science classes, you might struggle in nursing school because nursing school is a lot harder than the classes that you're taking, your prerequisites. So you try not to repeat too many of their classes. One time, maybe two times is okay. But once you're doing excessively to more than one classes, then it's going to be a problem. And a lot of nursing schools really don't take students who repeat science classes or have had failure. So you try to do the best you can. That's the most important thing. Also, try to score for A's and B's, no C's. Whatever you do, try not to get any C's because those C's can bring your GPA down. Trust me. So, think of C as a failure. It sounds terrible, but think of C as a failure. Try to score for A's and B's. Those are your most important things. What I did was I tried to read the chapter before I go to class. Because when you go to class and the teacher starts to lecture, you feel kind of lost and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to catch up with everything that he's saying or she's saying? So I try to read the chapter, even if I don't understand it fully. I read the chapter before I go to class. And then when I go to class and the teacher starts to lecture, everything starts to connect. So you're like, oh, so this is what he means or she means by the whatever you just read. So I read before I go to class. Then when I come back, I'll review the notes, review my notes, review the notes that the teacher provided us with, and also review what I've read. And then I'll go through my workbook and I'll try to make sure that I understood what I studied. And another good thing is to have flashcards. Flashcards are amazing. I would have these stack of flashcards and I put them in a Ziploc bag and I carry them wherever I go. So even if you're in the bathroom or the toilet, you sit there and you just study your flashcards. Believe it or not, those places are the best place to study. If you're at the hairdresser, you're under the dryer, you just study a flashcard. You're at a restaurant and you're just chilling, study a flashcard. If you're waiting to be seated, study a flashcard. Your flashcard is your baby. I've had a girl that I work with, she's a pre-med student, so she's taking a lot of science classes. So we work in a retail store, so you can imagine that it's really hard to study. So she would try to work in the fitting room and she'll stay in there and study her flashcards as she tried to get customers in and out the fitting room. So, you find ways to study. You get your kids involved, you get your husband involved, so you're not kind of isolating them from school. So you get them involved, you get your kids to help you study or find ways to help you study, and you use your family as ways to implement them in your study time so that they don't feel left out and be like, oh, mommy or daddy's just so into school, I don't see them very often. And I know it's hard when you have kids. So you find ways to get them involved in it. So even if you have to get like a poster with all the bones on there and you can get your kids to get involved and teach them the bones. And sometimes when you're teaching someone, you learn so much from it. So implement your family in your study time. Another thing that I found that was really helpful is YouTube. YouTube has a lot of information. There's dissections on there. There's teachers from these prestigious universities that are lecturing on anatomy, and these information are right there. So I got a lot of my videos from, I got a lot of my practice or my studying from watching videos. A lot of time when someone else explain something about the body, you learn it so much better by listening to someone else, if that makes sense, right? So that's what I do. I watch videos on YouTube, and it really helps. I also get different sources. You don't have to study everything from your textbook. Sometimes when you study from another book, you go to the bookstore, you go to Barnes & Noble, you get another anatomy book, and you read about the heart. And that book might explain it better than your textbook. And then when you put everything together, it makes so much sense. So I use different sources to study my my anatomy and my chemistry or whatever. So a lot of different books give you different explanation. Go outside sources. Find tests online to practice what you've just learned. You know, there's just so many sources on the internet that's free. Use them. Trust me. Try to get as much source as possible. So that's what I do. Another thing that I don't recommend that you do is do not lay in bed and study. You know, sometimes you lay on your back, you got your book up, you'll fall asleep. You get so comfortable, you fall asleep. Don't lay on your side to study. Sit up at a table and study, because that's the best way. Good lighting is important. Also, don't study for long hours at a time. Don't study for 3-4 hours without taking a break, because after a while your brain does not register anything that you're learning. So it's important to, let me see how much time I have. Okay, I have some time. So it's important to find a comfortable setting where you're sitting upright at a table or a desk and study. Have all your information. If you have power lines that you have to study, not power line, PowerPoint, PowerPoint, where you can go along with whatever you're reading. So, you know, anatomy and physiology, microbiology, chemistry can be overwhelming, but if you prioritize and put everything together, you know, and organize yourself, it'll be easy for you. So try to use those tips that I just said. Get sources, find comfortable setting, implement your family in studying. Whatever you can do to find a time to study and put 110% in whatever you're reading. I think that's all I have for now. If I do remember anything else, I will let you know. Oh, another important thing too. When you go to the lab, bring your camera with you. Oh my god, excuse me, I have a flu. Bring your camera with you and take pictures, because when it's time to do the practical, where you have to go over everything that you learn in your lab, you want to take pictures. Ask your teacher if you can record her lecturing about a bone or the heart or something. So take pictures, record with your camera, with your teacher, pointing to the different parts of the body and explaining it. Record it. And that's what I did. I recorded, I put it on my computer, put them together, make a movie, and watched the whole thing. So ask your teacher. Teachers are more than happy to have you record them, because they feel like, hey, you know. But my teachers were really cool. They're like, whatever, if you need to record videos to learn it, go ahead. Use all the resources at your school. There's tutors. There's just so much out there. Use them. You know, you don't have to just go by just the textbook. Get as much sources on the internet, watch videos, ask your teacher. Your teachers are more than happy to help you. So don't be scared to talk to them, because that's what they're there for. That's why you're paying the money, is to ask them all the questions. No questions are stupid. That's all I have for today. Talk to you guys later. Bye.